Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Welcome back.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to Rising Consciousness. We're so happy to be here with you today. We're going to be talking about shifting our mood.
Shifting your mood.
Shifting our mood. You know, those days where you need a real mood booster. You know, you need a lift in what you're feeling.
Pick me up.
A pick me up for sure. That's where we're going today.
Yeah.
You want to kick it off?
Yeah.
Giggle pants over here.
So here's something that, quick trivia to start. You know, I love these. Did you know that the cells of the human body actually make a sound? They broadcast a sound. And when you're healthy, they make a really clear, distinct, organized sound. It's not chaotic, it's not dissonant, it's just calm, right? But when they're unhealthy, the sound sounds gritty.
Sounds like this.
Chaotic. Yeah, exactly. right. So
frenetic.
So by shifting your mood, right, which affects your cells and the energy that you're giving off, you're actually affecting the condition of your cells as well and making yourself appear to be healthier or make the body function at a higher level. So definitely.
This is probably why no one likes sitting in front of one of those TVs that has the static playing where it's like,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I don't think most people
you.
like to look at that, you know? And right. I think there's a reason why, because it's dissonance, it's frenetic, it's chaotic, and actually energetically, it's funny that you mentioned this because whenever I do energy healing, and when I always work with my eyes closed, sometimes when people are in, let's say, a chaotic state, an overly mental state, they're not feeling calm, they're not feeling grounded, they're jarred, they've been emotionally upset or something's happened.
Yeah.
Around their head, the auric field around the head actually looks like static electricity mixed in with that TV static. That's what it actually looks like. Mm-hmm. And it's got a palpable sound and feeling to it.
Yep.
And then, you know, I find once they've gotten clear or once they've emoted or once we've shifted some energy, then that all starts to smooth out. It's almost like the wind comes along and just kind of clears it all. And then the energy smooths out. So I love this conversation about frequency because I think and believe and feel frequency is everything.
It is everything. And you're literally right about it being everything, like literally. Mm-hmm. Because there's something, I'm going to drop a little secret on you here. If you make a high enough sound, right, and the frequency of the sound is fast enough, as in the vibrations between the sounds are fast enough, that sound will actually make a transference into light.
Cool.
Sound and light are the same thing, right? They're not two different things like we've been taught, right? It's a certain frequency range that allows it to be sound, and beyond that it moves into light, right? So then when we think of that, when we're thinking about like the energy healer who's sending a specific vibration to someone else or sending light, they think they're sending light as in a physical thing that is light. But actually, they're broadcasting a frequency. And that frequency is translated as a sound in a sense. And it reaches to the other person and affects their cells in a positive way. It entrains them to act in the way that we were just speaking of, right? It's like the vibration of health. Mm-hmm. When we think health, we're actually thinking in terms of frequency, and we translate or transmit that from ourselves to others in that way as well. Mm-hmm. So these are how these things work, right? And it's like, we think these things are two separate things, and you go heal, so you send some light. Yeah, you're sending light, and you're sending a lot more than that. Yeah, it's a frequency.
That makes so much sense because if you just taking that example of health, health is or vitality, well-being, wellness, you are whole, has a really beautiful tone to it, right? Like even as I say those words, just feel it for a moment. Health, vitality, wellness, you are whole. Right? It has a certain resonance. For me, when I have a lot of affirmations and mantras that I say that include those words. And whenever I say them, I feel great. I feel vibrant. I feel youthful. I feel amazing. Now think about when you have conversations with certain people out there, and people chit chat, people have conversations all the time, and you have those typical conversations where you're like, well, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. You know, and first they're like, I'm fine, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, as the conversation progresses, well, you know, my back and my this and my that and this is hurting and my bones are aching and I'm not feeling so good. And oh, I had to, you know, you can, the vibration, even as you like listen to the vibration of I'm not feeling well, or there's a couple words we don't even use in this household, like SICK. I don't even use that word around the kids. And when TV shows or anything say that, I'm like, fast forward, because it has a very low vibrational consciousness. And if I want us as a unit and myself and the kids to have a beautiful, loving, vibrant, whole, healthy, radiant, well-being experience, do I really want to bring in those other words and frequencies and emotions that have such a because it has an effect. Just like what Gabriel was saying, if you speak, or a healer, let's say, sends love or sends light or sends wholeness or the intention of health, that has a frequency. It goes out like a broadcast. And it, like Gabriel said, has an effect on the cells. It changes the constitution. It changes the energy. It changes the molecules. It allows them to vibrate in vibrational resonance, harmony, harmonic resonance of that frequency or tone that's hitting it, or, you know, embracing it. The same is true of the not so great words, right? HATE, that's another word. We don't use that one in our house. It's got such a low vibrational energy, and people use it left, right, and center. It's just common language. We're like, oh my God, I HATE that, right? You hear that all the time. Right? It's an energy, and that energy is not only going out, but it's being said and spoken and heard inside of you, and your cells are receiving that.
And everything that you give out through your system, right, is affecting you. It must affect you. That's where it originated. That's where the thought resides in the first place. That's where the energy resides. That's where it's coming from. So it must affect you as well. So it's not something to just take lightly and go ahead just saying it, like with water, for instance, and the Dr. Emoto studies. It's the same thing again, right? If you guys don't know about Dr. Emoto, I'll just run through it real quickly.
He's
so you know.
Beautiful. He was a beautiful soul.
Yes. So he would have Petri dishes with water, right? And certain ones he would speak certain words to, like words of love, caring, gratitude. And when he froze the water in that Petri dish, it would come out and it would be organized, right? Organized, beautifully outlaid. Whereas when he would take the other Petri dish and say words like the HATE word and all of that stuff, what would happen is when it was frozen, and he looked at it under a microscope as well, it would be all jagged and disorganized, and like you just looking at it would sort of disturb you a little bit. It looked disturbing as well, right? So you could see the energy, and again, that sound translating into this light, right? So that you could see it, and that was the representation of it. But what it really says is, when we use those things through our own systems or direct them towards others in our field who are connected to us, as we said in one of our episodes before, it does affect us and them. Right? Not just us. Us firstly, because we started it. We let it go through our system. But then them as well, because it is spoken to them, and that light is sent to them as information as well. And we are connected, so we share that experience together, right? You know, and only a person who's like extremely conscious and aware of the light within them would allow that to just bounce off or go where it is. But otherwise, that would just be being communicated to another and harming them in their experience as well. So we can harm or we can uplift, right? And it's important that we do our best to uplift, because it's not only them, it's us too. Right?
And that goes for, like, just as a side note, that goes for, you know, when people talk about bad talking people or gossiping, every word that's spoken and the energy that goes along with that has a detrimental effect, not only to the environment and the people who you're saying it to, but also the people it's about, and also yourself. It's literally a ricochet effect right back to yourself. And so that's why that sort of thing, it's really not a healthy. I remember my dad saying that. He was always like, you know, it's not healthy to be talking bad about people when we were kids, right? When we were younger. And I didn't really understand what that meant until recently, when, you know, you go deeper into energy healing and you really experience the difference, the contrast between speaking loving words of kindness, receiving loving words of kindness, versus that other stuff.
And all you really have to do to think about it is like this. every time something bad is said about someone else, the feeling that you're left with is some sort of upset, anger, or some kind of feeling that leaves you feeling not like yourself.
Yeah.
To be clear about it, not like yourself. But when you speak loving and caring words about somebody, all right, or even about yourself for that matter, isn't there an upliftment? Don't you feel good? You feel good to appreciate the value of that person and to appreciate the value of yourself through them as well. So then you uplift. And that's the difference right there. It's the energy that you're emitting in that instant, right?
And that's why it's important. You know, one of the practices that I would say to bring forward for today would be to be really mindful and choosy as to the words that you are using. Yeah. And if there are words that you habitually say, and then you're like, whoa, do I like the feeling of that? Does that roll off the tongue smoothly and sweetly? Or does it like, does it leave you with that jagged feeling? Or you're kind of like, oh, I could use some refinement around that one. Okay, great. Just cancel, delete whatever that was that just flew off your tongue and reframe it. Choose a different word. Sometimes we have to habitually practice that to repattern ourselves because we get used to talking a certain way. We get used to saying certain words until you realize that saying those words or choosing that vibration really isn't serving you anymore. And it's not really in alignment with the highest expression of yourself. You realize that, you know what? It's not worth it for me to continue talking or speaking like that. I'm going to choose something different. And the same thing goes for what you're letting in your ears too. It's okay for you to walk away from conversations wherever they're coming in from that are not serving your highest and best good. Yeah. If you're hearing stuff that's leaving you feeling really terrible, you can dial that off. You have free will and free choice to do so. Yeah. So it's really, this is about harmonic connection, harmonic convergence, and resonance. Yes. Right? And so it's important for us to pay attention to that right now because energy is everything. It always has been and it always will be. But I think that there is a higher level of awareness around consciousness and frequency right now more than ever before. Yes. Right?
Yep. And you're so spot on with resonance because that idea of resonance leads to sympathetic resonance, which is exactly what happens in our world where, for instance, if you strike a tuning fork and you have another one in the room, it vibrates as well without you touching it. It
starts to actually make that sound.
It makes the same sound and it starts vibrating too, just because it's at that frequency. So when you function at the level of heart or you're functioning at that place where you know you're connected and you're giving off good vibes, like we would call it, then all the people with good vibes will also be activated around you. And they'll come to you because they feel you, right? They feel that vibration. They say, yeah, that person's my soul family or whatever. They feel that, right? But it's a vibration. That's my peeps, you know? Like, I'm sure you have people in your life that when you think of, you just think of them as smiling or happy because they have that effect. They're just happy people and you feel that. And then you have people in your life too, you're like, consistently that their vibration is going to be something like meh. And that meh doesn't feel so good to you. Yeah, meh or right? And the meh people, well, how do you feel? That might activate the meh part of you when you get around them, and then you'll be meh around them too, right? Right? Or right? You might have that, right? Whereas when you get around that person who's vibing on that happy vibe, you feel good. You feel yourself. You want to identify with that self because it's like, oh yeah, this is me. This feels like this is me. You know, that's really what we get down to. So that's that vibrational exchange that takes place between us. And that sympathetic resonance is a beautiful thing. It always happens, but sometimes we pay more attention to it. And when we pay more attention to it, we can follow up with it and find ourselves in or surrounded with the people that vibrate at the level we would love to be at. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I haven't yet shared this story. I haven't even told Gabriel about this. I actually wanted to run downstairs out of the shower the other day to be like, oh my God, you got to come check this out. The coolest thing just happened. So in one of the showers here in our house, it's like a rock tile. Okay. So I don't know what kind of rock, but I know it's rock and it's real rock. It's some sort of, not granite, but something, right? Like it's a rock tile of some sort. And when I'm in there and the water's running, I often sing in the shower. And Aria was in the bathroom. The boys were playing as well. And I said to Aria, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you come and hear this? Because I think I'm hearing it. And she heard it too. She's like, that's so cool. And so what happened was, talk about frequency and everything having a certain frequency and resonance, vibration. So I believe and know and have experienced that every living thing, whether it's a rock tile or a tree or a rock or the snow or a river or a stream or anything, a bird, right? Whatever it is out there all has a frequency, a harmonic frequency that it emits. It's like it's its natural song, right? Yeah. And so as I'm singing in the shower, and it was just a chant, like, and I don't even know if I'll remember it right now, but I was kind of like, ooh, ooh. I think it was just that or something, right? And as I was just chanting that, and sometimes I was like, ah, or ooh, or whatever. And all of a sudden, so if I did ooh, or ooh, nothing really much happened in the shower. Yeah. But there was a specific frequency when I hit like, ooh, right there. No joke. The rock tile reflected and resonated back with me, and I was in this harmonic resonance where I swear to you, it felt like it was singing back to me. It was like echoing the same frequency, and it made it like 10 times louder. So it was like my voice and like 1,000 voices singing back to me, and it was creating this like frequency field, and I was like, this is awesome, right? And I believe that that's true. Like, remember when you and I used to chant together too, and you'd hit that sweet spot, and it would be like,
and we'd be in perfect harmony singing it and stuff. Yeah, that
so happen, cool. Or like Gabriel said with even guitar. If you actually sing close to a guitar, the strings start vibrating.
If you could sing a perfect, let's say G. It would actually vibrate that string.
It's the coolest thing.
The string would start to move. Yeah.
And so to me, when I hear and experience something like that, I felt so joyful, and I felt so excited because I was like, the rocks are singing back to me, you know? And it was like matching my frequency. And in that moment, I felt like I could receive it too. And we were just vibing and harmonizing in this, like, whatever the note was, I have no idea. I don't know my musical scale that well when it comes to the actual notes, but I do know frequency. And the frequency was so beautiful. And it was this perfect harmonic resonance. And I feel like when those things happen, whether it be between people, whether it be between nature, whether it be a conscious choice within you, that you're like, I love this word, right? Like for me, I love the word awesome. I just love the word awesome. I could say it like a million times a day, right? Some people love the word love. Some people love the word peace. Some people love the word freedom, right? Like really tune into that, because there are certain frequencies or words or colors even that you might naturally just love. That's because it probably has a similar frequency, a harmonic frequency that matches you naturally, right? Not the layered pieces of you, not the past, not the crazy things that happen to us, not our belief systems, not the ego, but the soul version of us, that it actually matches that. And when we hear that note in a song, or when we hear it somewhere, or someone speaks it, and we're like, oh, there's something magical that happens.
And some people love to hear certain sounds like chants, mantras, those sorts of things. The Om right now is coming through strongly. And that's a frequency that actually plays through all nature. If you listen, if you had the time to sit and meditate for a while, and just, let's say you were in a vacuum or you were devoid of sound, at least white noise, you'd actually hear within the body that sound. Just like that, coming through all the way. So and that's beautiful. In everything. It's all around us. It plays all the time, but sometimes we just don't be paying attention to it, right? It's like it's right there. And this is important, because sound, in a sense, and we were talking about frequency and shifting your mood in the beginning, but sound itself is a manner in which you can also make that change in mood. Because if you think about it, when you listen to certain types of music, like Tara loves the oldies, right? Tara loves the oldies,
the
right?
70s, my favorite.
You listen to that stuff and it gets you feeling good again. You feel attuned, right? You feel good. And then you go listen to some other type of song that they're pushing on the radio there, and you're like, I can't believe this person took the time out of their life to write this song. like really? like really? Yeah. So, that frequency is important. And the main reason I went to the Om part is that when you can feel back into that natural frequency again, sometimes the sound might even be a word. It might just be you connecting with the sound and nature itself. And you feel at peace again. You feel at calm. You feel in sync with everything around you. You feel like, I'm home. Yeah. Right?
It's beautiful.
So, so shifting your mood is just amazing. Another thing is, if you want a great point is feeling good or happy, as we were talking about in terms of in training, right? When you're with someone who's happy and that sort of stuff, that's of importance, right? It's of importance to you because, as we said in the beginning, the health of the body is best in its natural state. And your natural state, right, is to actually be joy-filled. It's the only whole state you could really have, right? You can't be partially joyful. No, you're all the way joyful when you're joyful, right? You're just filled with it. You can't be like, oh, I'm just a little joyful today.
I'm half joyful.
Just a little bit joyful today. No. When you're joyful, you're filled with it, right? So that's what we're talking about. When you can enter into that, naturally the body aligns. Your surroundings are aligned. The people around you, they either match up to that joy or they judge it and they go do what they do, right? But you stay there, and it's beautiful to be able to stay there. It's great to have the means to stay there. The means being, one of them, good music.
Yeah.
Beautiful thoughts, right? Beautiful thoughts have an energy to them, like we said earlier on.
And words.
And so they communicate to the environment, right? And they communicate to you, firstly, before the environment as well. Right? And then just the beautiful connection to what is around you, what is surrounding you. When you connect and you just feel that, some would call it stillness, some would call it silence, but you feel into what you are in relationship with everything, naturally you rise, naturally you return. The main reason why some people in their so-called aloneness feel like they're out of accord is because they're there, but their mind is going all over trying to busy itself to not feel into what they are right then, right there. So when you find a person that's really hectic, really busy, not to judge anyone on this one, but usually it's a way to distract from the sound that's playing in you right there, right then. You don't hear the you don't realize that you're synced in with every single thing around you. You don't feel that harmony. And the mind tries hard to escape from it. But once you calm down and you feel that and you're present to that, you realize the entire system is one and you're not alone at all in the first place.
Yeah.
And you catch yourself. Yeah.
So I hope you're feeling amazing right now. I'm feeling really relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm feeling soothed. I'm feeling great.
Good vibes, good
feeling
vibes.
Feeling great.
So, you're listening to Rising Consciousness. Yeah.
Music brings a lot of joy.
It.
Music brings a lot of joy. So that's why, we like to stream that in and weave that in for you, but it really does. So pick one of those practices, whether it be the words, whether it be the types of conversations you're speaking or taking in and listening to, whether it be the type of music. It could even be you chanting and singing and finding that beautiful resonance within yourself, because the moment that you do, your frequency is going to change. The energy and light within you is going to change, and it's naturally going to allow you to rise up. So have a sweet and beautiful day.
Yes.
And we will see you soon on the next episode.
Much love to you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rising Consciousness Show today. To join our Facebook group, all you need to do is go to www.facebook.com/groups/I Rise and Thrive.